We're joined in the studio by James Creedon, who is here for Media Watch. Good evening.
Good evening, Luke.
In the last couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of speculation about the role of Twitter, BlackBerry, social media in the UK riots in particular, and the media is kind of wringing its hands about their role in this.
That's right. They're kind of figuring out, was social media to blame? And then you had David Cameron, who came out a week or two ago and said perhaps social media should be shut down to prevent people being able to communicate more freely or more efficiently, so that they wouldn't be able to organise so well and riot so well so badly.
It's pretty draconian measures.
Absolutely, and measures that were very criticised in countries where we saw uprisings in the Arab world. In any case, ONI, which is a website here in France, they look at this and they say that it's really hypocritical. Even the BBC was speaking about was demonising social media to some extent or another. And basically, we were speaking about Twitter revolutions for the Arab world, and now we're speaking about Twitter mobs or BlackBerry mobs. So there's a certain double standard there, according to the two sociologists who wrote this article. They say also that we've prematurely blamed social media, such as microblogging site Twitter and BlackBerry mobile or Messenger, without any real statistics or studies to back that up. So we were kind of concluding they were responsible for the organisation of these riots, or for the ability that people had to organise very rapidly, when no studies have been conducted to prove that, or to chart that, or to give us a sense of the scale of it all.
Perhaps one of the demonstrations is just how fast social media do push news stories forward.
Exactly. I mean, we just don't know. In any case, what they're saying is, blocking social media. We saw what happened in Egypt when Mubarak attempted to shut down the internet back in January of this year. In fact, the riots and the unrest grew, and the regime was toppled. So there's an argument there, basically in social studies, to say that if you are to oppress the people, or if there's a greater degree of state oppression, the uprising could actually increase. So it's not necessarily the case that clamping down on social media could be effective in clamping down on riots.
Moving on to a completely different topic, and this is Ramadan, which is coming to an end in a couple of days' time. You're going to tell me, in certain Arab countries, it's pretty bad for the economy.
That's right. Let's have a look at Slate Afrique. Now, Slate is an African website for African news. Ramadan costs Algeria a lot of money. Now, it's interesting because in France, French Muslims don't really take any time off work generally. They have to work a full day, often on an empty stomach, because the whole idea of Ramadan is that you're fasting, and then you have a big meal at the end of the day. And even at the France 24 canteen earlier, I saw a lot of the Muslim staff eating a meal together at the end of the working day. But actually in Algeria, what they tend to do is adapt the whole society around Ramadan. So even in the public service, the working hours are reduced from, say you arrive at 9 a.m. and leave at 4 p.m. But in reality, people arrive at like 10:30 or 11 and leave at 1 p.m. So actually that's in the public sector. And then in the construction industry, in manufacturing and in services, things kind of grind to a halt, basically. So for around a month, the Algerian economy takes a big hit. And of course, big business people in Algeria aren't too happy about that. And they speak about the so-called Algerian weekend, which was done away with in 2009. That was when Algeria, from 1976 up until 2009, had its weekend on a Thursday and a Friday, which costs the economy 500 million every year. So they're saying, if that was, a cost to the economy then, what would Ramadan cost the economy now? And we don't have any figures, so...
Very quickly before you go, you're going to tell us about a cosmetics company, that's Nivea, causing something of a stir.
Well, I'm not sure if we'll have time for that. Can I show you this rather large woman first?
You can show me whoever you want.
All right. Here she is. Her name is Suzanne Emma, and she's rather large. She's 52 stone, and she wants to double that by the time she reaches her 40s. She's now 32. So she wants to weigh 115 stone to become the heaviest woman in the world. And there's various photos of her there. And just very quickly to show this, basically they now have developed medication for mice, which means that obesity won't shorten your life. So perhaps that could be useful for obese human beings as well.
That's a pretty strange ambition. Thank you very much. James Creedon with Media Watch.